For years, Barron Trump has been a mystery, silent, private, and always in the shadows of his powerful family. But now, everything is changing. Someone incredibly close to him is breaking their silence, and what they're revealing is nothing short of shocking. From hidden family tensions to the pressures of being a Trump, Barron's rumored girlfriend is finally speaking out, and what she says could change everything. Stay tuned as we uncover the truth behind the Trump family's most guarded secrets. For years, Barron Trump has lived under the weight of a name that carries power, controversy, and immense pressure. Unlike his older siblings, he has remained mostly silent, seen but rarely heard. But behind closed doors, what is life really like for the youngest Trump? His family is constantly in the spotlight, from political battles to business empires, but Barron's world has always been a mystery, until now. Rumors have swirled about a special person in Barron's life, a girlfriend who knows the real him, beyond the cameras and headlines. And now, she's stepping forward, revealing what the public has never known. What does she have to say? What secrets of the Trump family will she expose? And most importantly, how will this revelation change everything for Barron? Get ready, because this is about to get intense. For years, Barron Trump has lived a life of immense privilege, but also extreme isolation. As the only child of Donald and Melania Trump, he has grown up surrounded by wealth, security, and the pressures that come with being a Trump. While his older siblings, Ivanka, Don Jr., and Eric, have stepped into the public eye, Barron has remained a mystery. Few know what he is really like, what he thinks, or who he trusts. But now, someone close to him has finally broken the silence. A young woman, allegedly Barron's girlfriend, is coming forward with shocking details about what it's really like to be a part of the Trump inner circle. The relationship itself has been a closely guarded secret. Whispers of their connection have floated around private events, exclusive schools, and even social media, but nothing concrete has ever emerged. Until now. Speculation about Barron's personal life has been rampant for years. The media has often wondered whether he has a girlfriend, but no one has ever confirmed it, until this moment. According to sources close to the situation, Barron's girlfriend is someone from a world just as elite as his. She comes from a wealthy, well-connected family, with ties to powerful figures in politics, business, and entertainment. But what makes this revelation so shocking is not just the relationship itself, but what she is willing to share. According to insiders, she has grown tired of the secrecy. She has allegedly seen things behind closed doors that the public would never believe. Things about the Trump family's private conversations, their true opinions on political events, and even the tension that exists between them. But the biggest question remains: why is she speaking out now? From the beginning, Barron and his girlfriend's relationship was unlike any other. They couldn't just go on normal dates, walk through the streets of New York, or post pictures together like any regular couple. Every move was monitored, every conversation was scrutinized. The Trump family has always been fiercely protective of Barron, ensuring that he remains shielded from the chaos that follows the rest of the family. So how did they meet? Insiders claim their paths first crossed at an exclusive high society event where billionaires, politicians, and business moguls all gathered. She was instantly drawn to Barron, not because of his name, but because of his quiet, reserved nature. Unlike other rich heirs who bask in attention, Barron stood apart, tall, composed, and seemingly uninterested in the flashy lifestyle around him. But even as their bond grew, there were strict rules. Her phone was often confiscated when she visited him at Trump properties. Social media was off limits. No pictures, no captions, nothing that could hint at their connection. Security personnel were constantly nearby, ensuring that no unwanted attention fell on Barron. Even when they spoke on the phone, it had to be done discreetly, as if they were hiding something dangerous. As the months went by, the weight of secrecy became overwhelming. She began to see a different side of the Trump world, one that few outsiders ever witness. Behind the grand penthouses and political power moves, there were real family struggles. She allegedly witnessed heated arguments, hidden power plays, and discussions that could change the future of the Trump dynasty. One source claims that Barron often confided in her about the immense pressure he feels as a Trump. Unlike his older siblings, He has not chosen a path in business or politics. Yet, the world expects something from him. She claims Barron has shared his frustration about always being compared to his father, feeling as though he has little control over his own future. But perhaps the most shocking revelation is what she says about the internal conflicts within the family. According to her, the public image of a united Trump front is not always as solid as it seems. Tensions have allegedly risen between Barron and some of his older siblings, especially Ivanka, who has long been viewed as their father's favorite. Some insiders believe that Ivanka sees Barron as an unknown factor, someone who could eventually become a rival in the Trump family's future business and political ambitions. And this is where things take an even more dramatic turn. It was one conversation that pushed Barron's girlfriend over the edge. One conversation she could no longer ignore. She overheard something shocking, something about the Trump family's future that made her realize that Barron was being forced into a role he never asked for. It was one conversation that pushed Barron's girlfriend over the edge, one conversation she could no longer ignore. She overheard something shocking, something about the Trump family's future that made her realize that Barron was being forced into a role he never asked for. Just when things couldn't get any more intense, Barron Trump finds himself face to face with a shocking revelation from his rumored girlfriend. Her voice trembles as she finally gathers the courage to say it, something that could shake the Trump family's private world. Barron's expression shifts from disbelief to silent tension. His hands tighten, his jaw clenches. This isn't just another rumor, this is personal. Meanwhile, unknown to them, someone else might be listening. Could it be Melania, Donald Trump himself? Or someone working in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike? Every second ticks by as Barron struggles with the weight of this revelation. The air is thick with suspense. What will he do next? And more importantly, how will the world react if this secret ever gets out? Let me know if you want to tweak it further. The weight of the revelation didn't settle immediately. For a few moments, Barron just sat there, staring into the distance, his mind racing. His rumored girlfriend had just dropped a bombshell, one that had the power to shake the very foundation of the Trump family. But what was he supposed to do now? Confront his parents? Pretend it never happened? Or worse, was this the moment everything changed forever? That night, Barron barely slept. His phone buzzed constantly. Messages, missed calls, questions he wasn't ready to answer. His girlfriend had said she would keep this between them, but could he really trust her? What if she slipped up? What if the media got hold of it? The pressure of being a Trump had never felt so suffocating before. He tried to clear his mind, but images of his father's reaction played over and over again. Donald Trump had always been a larger-than-life figure, a man who demanded loyalty and strength. If he found out, would he see Barron as weak? Would he try to control the situation like he always did? And then there was Melania. His mother had always been more protective of him, but even she wouldn't be able to shield him from the firestorm this could create. By the next morning, something felt different. There was an eerie silence in the Trump household. Melania's usual calm demeanor seemed colder, more distant. Donald Trump, always vocal and commanding, barely acknowledged Barron at breakfast. Had they found out already? The tension in the air was suffocating. As Barron lifted his phone, his heart nearly stopped. A single message flashed across the screen. "We need to talk. Now." It was from Ivanka. Ivanka had always played the role of the perfect daughter, the one who understood how the game of power worked. But when Barron walked into the private lounge where she was waiting, there was no trace of her usual composed elegance. Instead, she looked concerned. "I know what happened," she said, her voice lower than usual. Barron's stomach dropped. "You don't understand," he started, but Ivanka raised a hand to stop him. "This isn't just about you, Barron. If this gets out, it could destroy everything. The media, our family's enemies, they're waiting for a moment like this. Dad, he won't take this lightly." The words stung. It wasn't just his life at stake, it was the entire Trump legacy. Despite Ivanka's warning, the inevitable happened. A leaked text, a blurred photo, a whisper in the right journalist's ear, it didn't take long before headlines started circulating. Barron Trump's private secret exposed, Trump family in crisis. Who is she? the mystery girl behind Barron Trump's biggest scandal yet. Within hours, social media exploded. Speculation ran wild. Was Barron really in a relationship? What was the secret that had everyone talking? And more importantly, how would Donald Trump react? At first, there was silence from Trump Tower. But silence wasn't Donald Trump's style. When he finally addressed the rumors, it wasn't through a carefully worded statement. It was at a high-profile event, with cameras flashing and the world watching. "Fake news," he said, waving off the controversy. "My son is smarter than that." Smarter than what? The reporters pushed for more, but Trump had already moved on, talking about the economy, about politics, anything but the storm brewing in his own family. But behind closed doors, things weren't so simple. That night, Barron was called into a private meeting. The atmosphere was ice cold. Donald Trump was pacing. Melania sat quietly, her expression unreadable. "Tell me it's not true." Barron hesitated. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure if he could meet his father's gaze. The days that followed were a blur. His girlfriend had disappeared from the public eye, probably forced to keep quiet. The Trump family's PR team worked overtime, controlling the narrative. But the damage was done. As the storm settled, Barron Trump found himself standing at a crossroads. The scandal had already seeped into every corner of his life, shaking the foundations of the Trump family's carefully crafted image. But the real question was, what now? Could he ever return to the quiet, shadowed life he had before? Or had this moment permanently reshaped his destiny? In the days following the media frenzy, tensions within the Trump family reached an all-time high. While Donald Trump publicly dismissed the rumors, the private conversations behind closed doors told a different story. Ivanka, always the strategist, had been the first to warn Barron about the consequences. But now, even she seemed unsure about how to contain the fallout. Melania, protective as ever, tried to shield her son from the relentless gossip, yet there was only so much even she could do. And then there was Donald, facing pressures from all sides, balancing politics, business, and now a personal crisis that could spiral out of control at any moment. Barron had never felt more like an outsider in his own home. For years, Barron had managed to stay out of the spotlight, carefully avoiding controversy. But this incident had changed everything. He wasn't just the youngest Trump anymore. He was a headline, a talking point, a topic of endless speculation. Social media was relentless. His face was everywhere. Theories ran wild, each one more dramatic than the last. Some painted him as the rebellious Trump heir, ready to expose family secrets. Others saw him as a victim, caught in the ruthless machinery of political dynasties. But the worst part? He couldn't control the narrative. One evening, Barron found himself alone in one of the vast Trump Tower lounges, staring out at the New York skyline. The city felt so different now, once a place of opportunity, now a battlefield of whispers and hidden agendas. He heard footsteps behind him. Without turning, he already knew who it was: Donald Trump. For a few moments there was silence. Then, in his signature commanding voice, his father spoke. "You're learning something very important, Barron. In this world, perception is everything." Barron finally turned to face him. "And what if I don't want to play the game?" Donald Trump smirked, shaking his head. "Then the game plays you." It was a lesson wrapped in cold truth. Like it or not, being a Trump came with a price. And Barron was beginning to realize just how high that price really was. In the days that followed, the scandal gradually began to fade from the headlines, replaced by newer controversies and breaking news. But for Barron, the impact would never fully disappear. He had glimpsed the brutal reality of the world he was born into, a world where trust was fragile, privacy was an illusion, and every move he made could be twisted into a story. But deep inside, a new realization started to grow. This wasn't just about the Trump name anymore. This was about who he was going to be.